I don't know why we decided to pull out the camera. My eyes are not dry yet.
Would you just get back from seeing a Toy Story or something?
It's actually exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah.
So insightful. What's going on, guys? We're the Cinefanatics. My name is Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert
No, you
Adams.
stop. You didn't cry.
Because my heart is black and I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but, I mean...
We just got back from seeing Toy Story 4, so we are going to give you our thoughts on the movie here, our review for it. We're going to start off spoiler-free. We're going to give a little bit of spoilers on the back end. We'll give you a warning when that comes. So
No, there's a spoiler. The ending needs to be talked about.
yeah, you got it. You gotta. So, first things first. The summer has been redeemed.
Yeah, this was a full-on summer of suckitude that was going on for a while. Like, every major movie just... I don't think they were really hitting the bar, including Aladdin.
That's incorrect. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's been a summer of, it was fine, it was okay. And I think that's how a lot of people have felt, except for Aladdin. Aladdin was fantastic, shut up. But now we have Toy Story 4, which, this is the movie that we were kind of looking towards, like, please, you Toy Story. You are Toy Story. You can't be bad. Please don't be bad. Please don't make us regret the fact that they did another movie past Toy Story 3.
Which, so, I mean, right off the bat, everyone's going into this saying, like, Toy Story 3 was, like, the perfect ending for all the toys. It capped it off. It was perfect.
Yeah.
There was nothing else that needed to be said.
They moved on. They were in a new home. That was the end of our story with them, with Andy. It was done.
Yeah.
Good. And here's the thing. For the most part, I think if they left it at 3, it still would have been fine. This story didn't need to be told. They could have left it at 3, and we all probably would have been happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
But because they decided to tell it, now we need to know how good of a story this is. And because they made it, they went ahead and made it good. And now I feel like, okay, we didn't need this movie, but I'm glad it was made.
Yeah, and it definitely exists, and it definitely belongs. Like, the thoughts and feelings that were created in the first 3, you thought were capped off. But, like, in my opinion, what happens in this one was something you're like, huh, okay, I could see that was kind of needed. Like, it makes sense for this to be a part of the previous 3 movies. And, like, I actually do feel like a little bit more closure on it. Before we dive too deep into that, into the actual story, the ending of this movie, though, the characters, the movie itself was a Toy Story movie.
Yeah.
It's the same familiar characters, the same familiar type of situations. You absolutely love it. It's enjoyable to watch. But yeah, I mean, it's a Toy Story movie.
Yeah, so it's all the characters you've come to know and love. They're all there. They're all present. Not everyone has something to do. I feel like a large portion, like you've had some of the main characters in the past, like Jesse and Bullseye, didn't really have much to do in this movie.
Neither did, like, Rex, Ham, Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
They all kind of, like, went off to the side.
They're back there. They had a line or two to say. Buzz had a little bit more to do than the rest of them, but even he still didn't quite feel like he had as much to do as, say, like Woody.
Yeah.
Woody was pretty much the central focus of this movie outside of Forky.
Yes. Which Forky is absolutely amazing.
Forky is fantastic.
Forky is my spirit animal.
True.
I mean, overall, I would say it felt like a lot of these characters, including Forky was pivotal in this, but I think all of them were really having, like, some kind of existential crisis. Just especially Forky, Buzz, and
That's
Woody.
true.
They were all, like, kind of like outside of themselves for a majority of the movie. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. They're like, wow, these toys are really, like, taking this hard.
Yeah. Except for Buzz, I really feel like all the main players in this story were dealing with having to face being owned by a kid. What does that mean? What does it mean to not be owned by a kid? All of this stuff, and you're seeing it through different eyes, through different levels. You have Forky, who, I mean, you've seen in trailers and such, he's trying to either throw himself away into the trash can or trying to escape and be like, I shouldn't exist or whatever. And then his story arc to get to where he's at by the end of the movie. And then you have Gabby.
Yeah.
Really can't touch on Gabby a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'll probably touch on Gabby a little bit more towards the end, but the storyline that she has, Gabby, I should say. And then you have meeting it back up with Bo Peep again, and then what has she been up to? What's been going on with her?
Which that I want to touch upon. The character of Bo Peep in this movie is definitely a very feminine, empowering character, and I actually really like the way that they did it in this movie.
Yeah,
they made her a really good, strong character, and I thought very enjoyable.
Yeah, her story arc really fit in with everybody, as I was saying, what she was going through as a character, what she's been up to, where she's been this entire time. It really made sense for her story now to come back into the fold in regards to everybody else's story. And that's the great thing about this movie. Is it didn't, like I was saying, it didn't spend too much time on the other characters. It really spent time on these newer characters. You had the Key and Peele of it all, which were absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of their characters, their valet characters from the Key and Peele show.
Yeah.
Did you like them Liam Neeson's?
Yeah. Straight taken.
Yeah.
Tooken?
Straight tooken.
Straight tooken.
Yeah.
No, they were great. And then you got a scene stealer, Keanu Reeves as Duke Kaboom.
Yes. Yes, I Canada.
Yes, I Canada.
Yeah, that was Keanu Reeves in this movie is absolutely breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
You're all breathtaking.
Anyways,
yeah, no, he was. I really enjoyed his addition, his character in this movie.
I have forgot that he was in it until they showed up. I was like, oh yeah, Keanu Reeves is the stuntman Daredevil in this.
It's honestly one of the things I was really looking forward to the most about this movie.
Yeah, and it didn't fail.
It didn't disappoint. It paid off.
It was good.
So I mean, yeah, there's a lot to like about this movie. Just briefly before we get into any spoilers, just touching on the end there. There's tears. There were tears. I was crying. He wasn't crying because he's whatever. I was crying though, and here's the thing: I was going into this movie knowing, after hearing other people who had seen pre-screenings and everything, you're gonna cry. You're kind of probably.
Well, I mean, Toy Story 3 was notorious for that too.
Yeah, but I don't know if I even cried in Toy Story 3. I don't remember crying. Here's the thing: I don't cry at a whole lot of things in movies. It's got to be really impactful to get me to tear up.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 was really impactful. I teared up.
Yeah, so I think that's going to just about cover as far as staying spoiler free. So if you have not seen Toy Story 4 and you would not like to be spoiled by the ending, turn us off now. Stop watching us.
Go see Toy Story 4. Seriously, we recommend it. Go see it.
Then come back and watch this video again.
If you're still here by now, we assume that you have seen Toy Story 4. Do not get mad at us for spoiling it for you now. It's your fault.
God, jeez, that's a little harsh.
You got to be straight with people sometimes.
Okay. So the first thing I really want to cover as far as the story of this goes, and this is something I find that I guess has to be some kind of a phenomenon with movies, is you're watching a movie like in this entire time is Woody's trying to recover Forky, and he gets close, he gets him, then he loses him, they're trying to get everyone back to Bonnie.
Yeah.
Everyone's involved in scrambling all over the place.
And I'm over here
yeah, so you're like, oh, come on. But at the same time, there's something in your head that's like, come on, you can do it. I compared this kind of feeling, and this is my own specific example. If you've seen Office Space, you'll understand. But in Office Space, when Peter, the lead guy, is trying to quickly get out of the office before his boss, Lumbergh, can ask him to work for the weekend. You know where I'm going with this. Yeah. Every single time you watch that movie, I've seen that movie thousands of times.
You know it's going to happen.
You know it's going to happen, but that whole time you're watching, you're like, come on, Peter, come on, just this once, you can do it. As if it's going to happen and change the course of the entire movie.
But then...
It doesn't. Lumbergh always stops him and asks him to work the weekend. So that kind of a phenomenon, I don't know what it is, but like the movie's out of your control, but yet you're still engulfed in it so much that you're like, come on, you can do it, make it. And this movie was just full of that throughout the entire thing.
I'm going to need less Office Space references in your Toy Story reviews.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's something I always think is funny whenever I stumble upon that in a movie.
Yeah, so, I mean... We're touching on the characters, their stories, and everything a little bit deeper here. Bo Peep has been moved on to another kid, and then she got lost. She just got or they took her to the antique shop or whatever, and she decided, I'm just tired of sitting on an antique shop shelf. I'm out of here. So she's been floating around in the nearby park, and then the carnivals come in and everything, and so she's been living her life on her own accord. Then you have Gabby, who... She was
defective.
She's defective. She's kind of being set up, at least in the trailers, to be the main antagonist. And this movie, to whatever degree, doesn't really have an antagonist. It's going to be one of those movies where since it's Woody's story, really, it's going to be him fighting himself.
Yeah.
You just have Gabby as a catalyst for some of the stuff.
Yeah.
She actually turns out to not be a bad person.
Just slightly misunderstood because she's just used to her world from her point of view, and all she knows is that she would be loved by a child had her sound box been working.
Yeah, and I really love the dichotomy of her story in comparison to Woody's, because when they had that one scene where they were talking about it, like, you've gotten 2 kids now, you've gotten to be loved by 2 kids. I haven't even gotten that once.
I would just like one moment. Yeah.
I was like, dang. And this is the first one. Here it comes. Her puppet minion buddies, though, were creepy as mess.
Jeez. And I love the fact when they called it out, and then they really leaned into it there at the end.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah. And like, here.
Hi, Benson.
Yeah. Like, and here's the funny thing. This movie's coming out the same weekend as the Child's Play remake. Almost, if you've seen the Child's Play marketing where they've basically gotten Chucky, like, killing off the Toy Story characters, fantastic marketing on their part.
Yeah.
But I was almost expecting to see some kind of a nod, maybe, hopefully, to Chucky. I know that they weren't really going to do it because it is a Disney movie, but that would have been awesome.
It's also kind of difficult because this movie, they were working on Toy Story 4 for like 5 years, and it's only more recently that we knew that Child's Play and Toy Story were going to come out on the same weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty funny. Both movies are about toys. Both of them owned by a child named Andy.
Yeah.
The similarities are just insane.
So what we have in this movie now is the reason why many of us, including myself, were crying at the end is because, A, we grew up with Toy Story. Toy Story was the movie... Like, you were almost actually too old for Toy Story at this point.
But I did. I very much enjoyed it as a kid, too.
Yeah. But Toy Story was the movies that I grew up with. It came out in 95. I was a kid in 95.
24 years ago, geez.
Yeah. I was a kid in 95.
It's amazing how the animation has come along since then.
Yeah.
They've been better at animating human faces.
Andy looked crazy.
Yeah.
But so... We're seeing this franchise over about 25 years later almost, and like the characters are ingrained. You are invested in these characters. You are right there with them. You've been with them throughout the entire life, and so now it's like, what are they gonna do with these characters that's really going to pull up my heartstrings and make this movie worth watching? They're going to kick Woody out.
Yeah, so like we were saying, the movie could have ended on the perfect trilogy of them being passed on from Andy onto Bonnie.
Yeah, and that would have been fine.
But now we had this idea of like, it's actually okay because Woody has been like focused on being owned by a kid. He's been focused on making a child happy this entire franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Now we introduce the idea of it's okay to not be focused on that, to essentially focus on yourself. Enjoy your own happiness.
That aspect and the fact that there is a world full of kids that you can make happy. You don't have to stick to the one kid.
Yeah.
You are now free to run about and help out many kids, which, in those post-credits or mid-credit scenes, you started seeing a little bit of that at in the carnival game. So, I mean, that was tear-jerking because the biggest thing, and this is kind of like one of my final thoughts on this, is that you have Woody, who is walking away from Bo Peep, about to get back into the RV, go back with Bonnie and the other toys. And it just crosses through his head like, no, this isn't my job anymore. And Buzz looks at him and says, she's going to be okay, Woody. And you think, is he talking about Bo Peep?
Yeah.
No. He's talking about Bonnie.
Bonnie, yeah.
And then all the toys come out, and everybody says, oh my gosh, it's Bo Peep, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh, they're meeting Bo Peep again, that's great. And then it's, oh, but they're all saying goodbye to Woody. That's sad as mess.
Yeah.
And exactly. That's about the point where you audibly heard me saying, dang it, Pixar.
Got me again.
You got me again.
Well, you got him.
I might not have said dang it, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a G-rated movie, come on.
It's a G-rated movie, so I said it quietly. But, dang it, Pixar, you got me again. And, man, those guys at Pixar, they just know what they're doing.
They know how to tug those heartstrings. They do a very good job of it. And now that this movie is over, I think the final answer to the question, was this movie needed? Yeah.
Now that I've seen it, I need it.
Yeah.
I need it to exist now that I've seen it.
There was a whole new dimension to Woody that was discovered and closed by this movie, and I think that was definitely needed.
Over the course of 4 movies, they've pulled off a really great character arc for Woody. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that they focused on Woody in this movie.
And they've made him more human than most of the people I know in real life. I don't know.
And the characters from the 1995 Toy Story.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, Andy. Anyway, so coming from somebody who's grown up with Toy Story, absolutely loved this one. Is it my favorite Toy Story? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually sat down and thought about which is my favorite.
This is probably gonna have to be something you're gonna have to sleep on.
Yeah,
you're
probably.
Gonna have to think it over, see how you feel about it in a couple of weeks, or when other people ask you your opinion, like, what did you think of this movie? You're like, actually, I really did like it. Like, it starts coming, like, bits and pieces are gonna start coming back to you. And you're like, I actually really did enjoy this more than I thought initially. Right after getting out of the movie and filming the review for our channel.
Right.
As I'm losing my voice.
But here's the thing, like, now that we've gotten it, we now have what was considered a perfect trilogy is now a perfect quadrilogy. Are they going to carry on?
Which doesn't happen, ever.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Are they going to do a Toy Story 5?
I don't think so.
I don't know. They're in a position now where they might, if they could find the right story, they probably could.
I believe Tom Hanks has gone on record saying that this is pretty much the end, but the producers, the writers, they've also come out saying, you know what, if we find that there is a full story that we could tell, every single one of these movies are being filmed as if it's the first and the last of a story.
Right. So here's the thing. Woody doesn't have to be in another Toy Story now.
No.
His character is done.
Yeah. Which would make sense for what Tom Hanks said.
And now you go back and you have Buzz as the leader. You have all those toys and what what they're all going through. So, I mean, they could make another one.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if I want them to. I'm still getting choked up.
Yeah, literally.
It's late. But yeah. So, I mean, final thoughts. I really enjoyed this movie. It probably is going to be in my top of the year by the end of this year.
Yeah. So if you were to rate this movie based on your feelings now, even though I just told you this is probably be one you have to think about later, so based out of 5,
I like the little. Can you do the little ball with the star on it?
Oh yeah, the generic Toy Story ball. Yeah, I like that one too.
Stars.
Yeah.
Hey.
So out of 5, let's go. I'm gonna call it 4. I'm gonna call it 4 out of 5.
Nostalgia button is pushing me hard. I'm going 4.5.
Okay.
I'm going 4.5 out of 5 on this one. It's great. It is necessary.
It's definitely worth your time, worth your money. Go see it in the theaters. It looks fantastic on the big screen.
If you're at this part in the review, you probably already have. Otherwise, we just spoiled everything for you. So go see it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely worth the time. I loved it. So
that's going to do it for this review. What did you think of Toy Story 4? Let us know down below. What did you think of this review? You could also let us know that, I guess, down below as well. Yeah. Hit like if you liked this review. If you didn't like this review,
I just want you to know that even though you tried to terminate me, revenge is not an idea we promote on my planet.
Oh, well, that's good.
But we're not on my planet, are we?
No.
anyways, above our heads, there is a subscribe button. Make sure you hit that. Over off to the side are a couple other videos that we have made. And as always,
Buzz, 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 Buzz Lightyear to the rescue!
later.
See ya.
Will this movie make you cry? Yes, it Canada.